Hi everybody, welcome to Quarantine Parenting. Thanks for joining me today. So if you're coming to my channel for the first time, my name is Dr. Courtney Pegram and I'm an educational consultant. I created like 43 now videos of tips, tricks to kind of survive being quarantined, homeschooling, and working remotely. These are all ideas I pull from what I know as a consultant. I pull from resources, I read a ton, and people send me stuff. So take whatever you need and whatever else you can just leave at the door. So there's no room for judgment, right? It's been really rough and we've been at this for a very long time. So what am I going to talk about today? I thought since we were focused on boredom, I would do a quick tutorial about how to build a vision board. Because, I came to the conclusion that often when people want to do vision board, it seems like a big task. You're like, how do I get started? What do I do? And it can be sometimes overwhelming and confusing. And there's some tutorials I saw on vision boarding, but sometimes you have to pay for those things too. Or you can do is read through a lot of stuff and get ideas. But I want to give you like a quick, simple way to create a vision board that works for you. And then you can tailor it for your children, or you can do a family vision board. So I want to keep that open for you. So my goal today is to start the initial phase on building your vision board. So before you get started, it's really important to have a certain amount of materials and have thought through some ideas that you want. So step one, let's talk about materials. You're going to need some magazines. It could be different color paper, I would say markers. What else is helpful? I like to use like index cards to write different things. And then anything that would inspire you that you can use as even this recycled material or a certain color palette you like. And then you can use a space on your wall. So in the past I've used paint chalk on my wall, and then I wrote with like those white paint pens, my vision board. I've done that in the past. I've also, in my new place, we have a pretty big closet, which I'm super grateful for, used 2 of those walls as my vision board. You can just use a big piece of paper. It doesn't have to be super complicated. Don't have a big piece of paper, use a small piece of paper. Don't have a magazine, just write it out. The idea is not to have the perfect vision board, the most spectacular vision board. It's to get your ideas, your thoughts, your intentions, and your dreams onto paper so that you can see that daily. It really inspires you, and if you do it with your children, it inspires your children. They know what they have to look forward to. They know their dreams, their goals, what they're striving for. It really creates a sense of purpose. So we talked about materials. So now I want to move into the more meat of building your vision board. So before you get started, you have to spend some time thinking about what you want. You can't just sit down here with your pretty magazines and all your images and just start putting things together. You can, but there's no intention behind it. Like, why do you want a vision board? Do you want to be inspired? Do you want guidance? Do you want to kind of play through your dreams? So the idea of a vision board is to take those daydreaming moments and put them into action. It's to take those murky goals that you really want to accomplish, but you're not clear on them, and put them onto paper. So the intention is super critical. If there's no intention between the vision board, it could just be a pretty we project. But I'm all about intention, and I'm all about visualizing how to get there. That's really in depth, like how we get coached and how we work through things is when we can visualize it, see ourselves go there, and then watch ourselves through the steps. So what I would like you to do is listen to some of the questions that I have and pause between the video and write down your answers. So before I get started, I would love if you could grab a pen, a piece of paper, right? Something to jot down notes. You can even use a computer, anything that you can write on. Because each step is the most critical step to kind of pull things together. Do you have to do this to build your vision board? No. You might find it helpful? I think so. So why don't we try this together? And if it works for you, it might help you find your words, your images, And all those things come into place a lot easier when we have clarity. So I did this morning to kind of put all my questions together to simplify the process for you, because there's a gazillion ways of doing vision boards, mind mapping, and I wanted to create something simple and easy for you. So first, what you're gonna do is you're gonna take that piece of paper, and if you intend on putting on your wall, just start with a draft so that you can play around with stuff. You just don't wanna write on your walls and be like, well, that didn't work out for me, because I've done that too. So here we go. So the first question is, what do you like? So you'll be like, well, what do you mean, what do I like? What do I like to do? What I like? Just take that question and play with it. You might have a lot of answers that flow to you, or there might be nothing, or you're like, I need more clarity. But just sit with that question. What do you like? Now pause me for a second and think about what you want. First things that come to your mind, just write it down. Pause. Okay. So you might have been like, well, I don't know what I like. It could have been, well, I like to go to restaurants. What do I like? I like TV. I like, being in my PJs all day. I like seeing people. So the reason I asked that really broad question is to start the creative juices flowing so that we don't get too specific too fast and we pigeonhole ourselves. So sometimes there's a gazillion things that come and sometimes there's nothing. There's no right or wrong answer. We're just exploring. So using open-ended questions can be really helpful for you to start thinking new ideas or change the way that you're viewing something, a situation. So that's why I like to use these really broad questions to start off, and then we can narrow down. Okay, so now on your piece of paper that you kind of wrote what you write, you're gonna do, let's say a circle, a triangle, something, because we're gonna start pocketing our ideas, and then we'll have it flow. So the next one is, what colors do you love? So in a section of your vision board, write in the colors that you love. What colors bring you joy, inspire you? It could be 1 color, 3 colors, 5 colors. It could be a palette. So for me, I like the rose gold grays. Like not the light, I don't like baby blue. If you know me, I have a thing with baby blue. I hate baby blue, but I like kind of like the turquoise color. I love white and off-white. So that's kind of my palette. It's the softer colors. Like actually the pillows behind me is pretty much my palette. So write down your colors. Write them down, okay? And then in the next corner, you're going to write, I want a list of people that you admire and the why. So who do you admire? Who excites you? Who do you look up to? Who do you like to follow? Or it could even be a friend that you admire. It doesn't have to be 10 people, it could be 1 or 3 people. But I want you to think about who you look up to or who you admire and the why. We don't often think about it, and some of those characteristics of the people we admire is the things that we want to see more in ourselves. So for example, one person I admire is one of my friends. I think she's the coolest. There's just a vibe about her that I'm always trying to inspire to be. The way she dresses is super cool. I love her hair, and she's super duper smart. Like she's just an incredible trainer, and she's creative, and she's edgy, and I mean, I can go on and on about my friend. I think she's the coolest, right? So I admire her. So she's on my list. Another person that I admire is Gabby Bernstein. She's a spiritual leader. I just find this beauty in her of like self-forgiveness, self-love. She inspires me. I put her down too. And the why is because she has so much ability to forgive others, forgive herself, move on. And the way she does it is so authentic. I love that about her. So start like picking and choosing people you admire, then write them down. Once you have that, it's the why that we want to stay close to for our vision board. We don't want to forget the people that we admire. We just want to understand better the why. So then when we're looking at our vision board, those are the characteristics you want to start extracting. So now in another section, corner, do a triangle, circle, square. You're looking like creating some buckets. So the next bucket is, what things do you want in your life? So then go wild. You can write, you want to buy a new house, a new job, you want a new car, What do you want? You want to find love, a spouse, new group of friends. You want to go on a shopping spree. Do you want to write a book? Do you want to become a social media influencer? Do you want to become a chef? Do you want to become a singer, dancer, superstar on TikTok? Go wild. Do you want to buy a farm? Right? Now I want you to think, and you're going to pause me for a few minutes, but of everything you've ever wanted for yourself. It could be not working for an entire year, winning the lottery. Go wild. Write down all your dreams, all the things that you ever wanted, big or small. And this part is only meant to create hope, joy, excitement. If you're not feeling it, there might be some stuff that's holding you back from what you want, and that's okay. Start smaller, like the little things that you want. I want to get my tax return, my stimulus check. I want to get, groceries this week. I want maybe a new pair of slippers. I know it can be small or big, but if these things bring you excitement as you're writing them down, go big. Go big. Right? So it could be things that you have not thought about in a long time, and that when you think about it, you just get excited. And that's okay. We want that because a vision board is meant to be exciting and creative and almost like bigger, better. But let's not get overwhelmed. Write the small things if it's not feeling too good. But that section has to bring you joy and excitement. So pause me and write all the things that you want. Okay, so now we wrote the things that we want, the people we admire, our colors. Let's move on to the next one. What do you want less in your life? So I make that section like at the bottom or somewhere that you can rip off, take off, or cross off. So what do you want less? The reason that we're exploring what you want less in your life is we want to start eliminating it. So do you want less stress? Do you want less, I don't know, negative people in your life? Do you want less work? Do you want, so you see where I'm going, right? So start writing down all the things that you want to start eliminating from your life. Why? Because those are the things that we're going to take away, and we're not going to make sure that they sneak in to our vision board. I find that often when we don't explore what we don't want, it sneaks in different ways. So we end up creating a vision board that's all about productivity, and it stresses you out. So if something stresses you out, you're not going to do it. You're going to avoid it. We don't like to go full on in our stress. So write down the things you don't want. So for me, what I don't want is I don't want a crazy busy life anymore. Right before quarantine, it started in January. We started to slow down as Bulldog, and it felt good actually, not just a little good. It felt good, and it gave me time and space to think. The past years before, 3 or 4 years prior, we were busy. 3 to 5 programs a week. We were traveling. It was chaos, and I didn't have time to grasp that moment that I was just producing. I was reacting versus thinking about what do I want for my business. So that's really important for me, is being more intentional. So what do I want less? I want less busy work. So I wrote down busy work. Okay. So if you're still kind of figuring out what you want less, please pause me and then you can come back. Now, our next question is, what are some dreams or aspirations? So what's the difference between what I want and my dreams? Dreams are bigger. So for me, it would be to have a TED Talk one day. That's a big dream of mine. It's been on my vision board for years. It excites me. I feel like chills just talking about it. I want to be on that stage. And I want to talk about education and kindness, like how kindness and connection, they come together and they can change the world we live in. That is my dream, and that I want to do on a TED stage. My aspiration is to be I would say like a more motivational education consultant that really helps the tools and the tricks to come together so that it fits for individual people versus just like, this is how you do this and why. I want to be more intentional, and I want to be on stages more, and I want to travel more. So those are some of my dreams and aspirations. The reason I'm sharing that is so that you can see how I'm doing it, because it's the how-to that's critical. So start thinking vaguely about what you want. If you're like, I don't know what my dreams are. It could be to buy a farm, right? Or a dream could be to want to win an award, a Nobel Prize. An aspiration could be something, change a career. It doesn't have to be like ginormous, but it has to be big enough for you that it's something that excites you, and it's not just something you want, but it's really big. And that's like, I like to think like, if you were to look back on your life, those are key moments of your life that you're like, wow, either that was cool, or I like to say #winning. So those are really important. So dreams and aspirations. And you might find a blank right now because during quarantine, this might be difficult for you to think about. So take a moment. Think back about a few years ago about what you were thinking about, what were your dreams. Your dream could be building a family, right? Having children, finding the love of your life. That's a dream and an aspiration, and that's really important. So no dream is too small or too big. We just need to put them down. So dream is something bigger than just what you want. It's something that like drives you, that like excites you, that every time you think about it, you just light up. So write those dreams and aspirations down. Perfect. Okay, so in the next section of our paper, so our paper is starting to have a lot of different buckets, right? So we're filling the gaps in. So then I want you to write places you want to go. You want to travel, you want to visit. So it could be like going across the country, like on a road trip. It could be going to different campsites. It could be staying in these bed and breakfasts across the country, across the world. It could be traveling Europe. It could be, taking a cruise. It could be sailing across the ocean. It could be sleeping on the beach to being in the mountains. It could be visiting every big city, right? So it could be small or big, but the places you want to go, that you ever wanted to go. And it can be like, I want to go to the zoo, I want to go to a museum, I want to go to a Broadway play, I want to go to a different country, I want to live in a different country, I want to, backpack, I want to travel in luxury in different 5-star hotels. You see where I'm going? No limitations. So the reason I throw all these ideas at you is because I really want you to focus on things that like hit your heartstrings and like, oh, I like that, or oh, that gave me an idea. That's the most helpful when it comes to brainstorming, is just exploring from 2 different ends of a spectrum where you can land. All the places you want to visit, to go to. And that list might be big and your bucket might need to be expanded, and that's okay. If you need to grab another sheet of paper, go for it, right? This is our draft. Write down all the places you want to go. Okay, here's our next question. So on a different space of the paper, please write down, what are new things you want to try? So it could be learning a new language, gaining a new skill, learning to dance, to cook, to write those things down. It has to be something that you enjoy, and it's not part of, well, if I do this and this, then I can get this job. It's new things you want to try that will bring you joy. So for me, I really want to touch up on my French, even though that's my first language and I'm bilingual. Living in Chicago for so many years, I've lost a ton of it, and I don't dream in French anymore. I don't think in French as much, so I really want to work. So that's one of my things, my new skills. I also want to learn how to sing. I'm tone deaf, and it's something I want to do. So those are the things that I'm going to put on my list. So that's really important. So, and they bring me joy. Thinking about it's kind of cool. Maybe it's learning an instrument too. Hey, it's never too late. So write those things down. Okay, moving on to a different section of paper. Square, triangle, however you want to create your buckets so that they're clear. So when you think about it, you know which bucket is which. What words inspire you? So you might need to pause me for this because you're like, I have no idea. But the idea is to write down, I would hope, 5 to 10 words that inspire you, that bring you joy when you see them, that motivate you. It could be a mantra, it could be a sentence. It doesn't have to be just one word. But it's important to do this part because as you're going through your books, your magazines, your things, if you find that word, you want to cut it out and put it on your vision board. So it could be powerful, visionary, change, beauty, inspiring, brave, resilient, fun, any words. It could be mantras like this too shall pass, or I'm strong, I am brave, I'm a bulldog. That's my slogan for my company. Okay, so mantras, words. It could even be a few cents of things that inspire you. The idea is we want to get those words on paper so that when you see them, you cut them out and you put them on your vision board. So for me, some of my words are beauty, beautiful. I love to find the beauty in every moment. Powerful, inspiring. So then start looking at those words and start going back to the people that you are inspired by and see if there's a connection there. It's pretty cool. If there's not, then there could be more areas to explore. But just to think about, things all start to connect. Okay, we have our words that inspire us. We are motivated. Now let's go on to the next question. What makes you happy? That's a really important question. You might be like, I don't know. Right now, not the best question to ask me. Or you might finally have some time to think about what makes you happy. And I want you to think about things that make you happy, but simple, easy things. Right? So saying not being in debt. Do you see not being in debt makes me happy? There's a lot of negative there. So it could be something like having enough money to feel safe and secure. It could be things that are more simple, like taking a walk with my family, a good cup of coffee, a cup of tea. So for me, it's the birds singing in the morning. It's it brings me immediate joy every single morning. And I look and I try to listen for them when I wake up. Another thing for me is the church bells that ring every hour. I feel like it surrounds my house with beauty. I love it. To be sitting and looking out my window or sitting on my porch, hearing the birds and the church bells, I feel like I'm in nature. And I'm actually in the city of Chicago, so I'm not in nature. But I'm in a neighborhood and I feel safe, I feel grounded, it makes me happy. Every single morning. So find things that can bring you little sparks of joy every single day that are easy to find. It could be listening to words of inspiration. It could be stretching. It could be meditating, journaling, all the easy things. And then find those, because those are the things that can consistently keep you reaching for the sparks of joy and bringing you happiness. So that is really, really important. And then you can write a few bigger things. So what makes me happy is traveling. I love traveling. My family and I we spark ourselves with travel ideas, plans, and my daughter loves to map out all the places she's been. She's been very lucky. And I have been too. I had opportunities to travel. So traveling is things that make us happy. I love food. Food makes me very happy. So I love going to new restaurants. I get excited. I like to plan out and think about what they have. And I have a whole list of Yelp of the restaurants I want to try. So that makes me happy. So how do I translate that? Well, we can't go to restaurants now. We're in quarantine. You can put your restaurants on your Yelp. And then when quarantine is over, you get to go to them. So do you see where I'm getting? It can be big things, but we want daily small things to bring those sparks of joy and make us happy. Okay, next. Another piece and another area of your paper. You may need 2 now. So just create another bucket. And you're going to write, what do you want to be? You're like, what do you mean? So what do you want to be? Do you want to be a teacher, a coach, a singer, a dancer? What do you want to be? You might be like, listen, lady, I'm at the mid of my career. I know what I want to be. Well, that's who you are, right? So who do you want to be? Is that who you want to be? Because if it's no, then we got to figure out, who do you want to be? Do you want to be someone that's inspiring, someone that's happy? Do you want to be someone that is learning every day, that feels challenged? Who do you want to be? And what does that look like? So spend some time, please pause me for this section, and spend some time figuring out who are you and who do you want to be? Because there's typically a gap between that, and we're trying to shorten the gap for our vision board so we can understand what is missing in my life that I can find or look for to close the gap. So for me, I've been working years in schools doing assemblies, running restorative practices, SEL. I'm a consultant for corporate. But who do I want to be? I want to be someone that can really bring value in the way I coach, the way I speak. Who do I want to be? I want to be an athlete, like not a pro athlete, but I want to be someone that wakes up and gets excited every day to work out. I am not there. I'm not close. But who do I want to be? I want to be someone that's really good at boxing because I love boxing. I feel so powerful when I'm boxing. Am I good at it? I'm getting better. But I want to be, I would say, a boxer, right? Not professional. None of these things are professional. They're just titles. So I give you an idea of where you're going with this. Who do I want to be? I want to be someone that eats healthy but can enjoy good food and not feel any guilt. I want to be someone that business comes to me through my expertise versus me chasing it. So do you see where I'm going? I'm hitting different aspects of my life, and I want you to do the same. Because I want you to think about who do you want to be. It helps us find inspiration and get unstuck. And then we find the gap of between who we are now and who we want to be. So who do you want to be? So pause me, start writing your narrative, jotting ideas down, and then come back to it. Because it's not just a simple answer, it takes time. But let's start today figuring out who we want to be so that we can find the things through looking through our creative outlets of stuff we can put on our vision board that represent who we want to be. So for me, in my vision board, I have a pair of boxing gloves, a pair of running shoes, because I love running. I used to love running, and I'm pretty decent at it, but I don't do it enough, and I'm not consistent. I also love SoulCycle, love it. So I have SoulCycle up there. I have those things of who I want to be as an athlete. What does that look like for me? Right? So do the same. And use names or titles that help you to have a quick visual. So that's why I say athlete. Do I feel like I'm an athlete? No. Do I think if I worked out 5 to 6 times a week, would I feel like an athlete? Yeah, I would. I mean, I wouldn't announce it, but I would feel like it. So I want to own it. So that's why I use those titles, to have a clear, quick visual. Boom, I'm there. Okay. Perfect. So now let's move on to the next question. What accomplishments or awards speak to you? What accomplishments or awards speak to you? Sorry, sometimes when I read my own handwriting, I struggle. Who do I want to be? I want to be better at handwriting. Okay, so what accomplishments, what awards, what are some things that you want to be celebrated for? So that was a hard question years ago for me to say because I would never want to be celebrated. I didn't ever want to, take the light away from someone else. So what I did is I dimmed my own light. But there's enough awards, accomplishments, and things for everyone out there, right? And we all want different things. So I want you to think about looking back at your life. What are some key milestones, some key events that you want to be celebrated for, accomplishments? You might not really know right now, and that's okay. But there might be some things that are really important that you never had a chance to write down. So I'm going to tell you mine. They're super big, and that's okay because it's a vision board, right? So I would love to when it's in a compassion award. It's like $1 million grant that you can get, and with that money, I would be able to really push my programs into the schools that really need us, and it would just be free. I would just give back so much to the impoverished communities so they have the resources to gain emotional intelligence and be able to resolve conflict, make better choices, have opportunities, right? So I'd fuel all that money into the educational system. And with the money too, what I might do is I would rearrange how we're teaching kids about social emotional learning, so that it's not like, oh, we have to do social emotional learning, but it's like, wow, how can I develop myself today a little more? So the compassion, I think it's a compassion grant or award that I read about years ago, and I was like, I want that. Another one that's smaller for me is I'm an adjunct professor. I'd love to be recognized as, I think it's the award, it's Professor of the Year. I think that'd be pretty cool. I think I'm pretty decent at teaching and I love it. So hey, put that down. Right, so you see how I just went smaller into bigger. So think about things that you want to be celebrated for. It doesn't have to be a physical reward, award, like certificate, but something that would make you feel that your work is having meaning or your purpose, or you know what I'm saying? And if you don't have anyone, you can totally skip that. If that doesn't make you feel good, skip it. But I know sometimes we don't think about those things. So the question comes, not awards and accomplishments, but what do you want to be celebrated for? That's what I want you to think about. Okay, now we come to our last question. Here we go. Okay, who do you want to meet? Like what? Like, is it a celebrity, an inspirational speaker? It could be someone that always like you love to watch. It could be a writer, a chef. It could be a singer, a dancer. It could be someone that you've watched from afar from years that you think is very inspiring, but maybe no one else. Do you know what I'm saying? Like someone you want to meet. So for me, to give you some ideas, to give some background, Adam Grant, he is a business psychologist. He's brilliant. I love his books. I love his TED Talks, his podcasts. I am a big fan of Adam Grant. So he is on my vision board. Just like Brene Brown. If you don't know Brene Brown, she's also a psychologist. Her books are incredible. Dare to Lead. She has an inspiring Netflix video documentary. And then she also has TED Talks. So those are two big people. And obviously, Oprah. I would lose my bananas of excitement. So those are the people I put on my wall. Would I ever have an opportunity? Who knows, right? But why not? Why not have fun with this? Why not like dream big and like, you know, because you never know who you're gonna meet, you know? Oprah was in Chicago for many, many years. It could, you know, she could just come by and be shopping and I run into her, you never know. I'm a business psychologist, so I could be at a conference and run into Adam Grant. But if I don't put it on my vision board and think about how it excites me, I'm not visualizing actually meeting them. And visualization is the key component to achieving our goals. So that's what I want to say about that. Okay, so we talked about our colors, our people that inspire us, the people we want to meet. Who do we want to be? What makes us happy? What accomplishments do we want to have in our life? Who are we? And then who do we want to be? Right? And what are the stuff we don't want? Oof, let's get rid of that, right? Okay, so now take a look at your vision board. Okay, so this is your draft. So here's what you do. Now is the fun part, the creative part. I mean, I love this part. This is my jam, but I want you to now put it into practice. So now you're gonna spend some time creating something visual that's appealing to you, that you find beauty and inspiration, and through cutting out images, words, or just drawing out pictures, or just writing things out, you're gonna create this board that's all those questions I asked you, except the what you don't want, on your vision board, okay? So you can have, like, if you want to travel more, you can have a picture of a passport. It could be areas you want to go. And make your vision board to fit what you need. So this is the critical point. Taking all that information and creating a visual for you will really be inspiring. And this is a fun project. So when you don't have fun with it anymore, stop. There's something that's going on, come back to it later, right? And then put the vision board somewhere you can see every day. So for me, my closet, I go into it every day. I get to see my vision board, and it's private. It's for me only. I shared a lot of stuff with you today, right, to give you ideas. So, you know, and that's important too. Share with people what you want to do when you feel comfortable with it. But if this is something really private for you, put it in a private spot, but you can see every day. And you're reminded of what you're striving for, what inspires you, what gets you going. Okay, so that is a wrap for the session on vision board. I hope it was helpful. This is super simple as far as like how to do it, and there's no right or wrong way. I just wanted to give you some guidance, like a roadmap, right? Okay, so if you like this video and you find it helpful, please click the like button, And then if you want to join me on these wild adventures of professional and personal development, please subscribe to my video and I'll get you some great new ideas and concepts to try. Okay, thanks for joining me. Have a great day. Bye.